A sharp digital alarm cuts through the darkness as market tickers flare alive. Their glow, trembling like a warning siren. Marcus feels his pulse spike as charts convulse across his monitors, each red bar collapsing like a building losing its frame. The world outside is still asleep, unaware that a single whisper in the bond market is shaking the floor beneath them. He leans closer, coffee untouched, eyes locked on an anomaly that should exist. A number that flickers as if it's hiding a message meant for him alone. Every second widens the gap between calm and panic, between order and a fall no one sees coming. He senses someone else is watching the same data from somewhere far away. Someone who wants this collapse to look like an accident. The system hums like a throat trying to warn before choking. And in the glow of the screens, Marcus whispers a question that hangs heavier than the silence around him. What happens when the ladder everyone climbs suddenly vanishes? Morning breaks with a cold indifference as Marcus steps onto the empty balcony, overlooking the still waking city. The skyline stretching like a fragile balance sheet waiting to tilt. His mind loops the anomaly, each replay tightening his chest. The world below moves slowly. Delivery trucks, street cleaners, early joggers, none aware that one shift in unseen debt could pull their days apart. He wonders how many quiet warnings he's ignored in the name of ambition. How many once believed they were climbing while actually slipping? His phone buzzes with a message from Lena, a name he hasn't seen in months, and the sudden weight of it reminds him that the ladder doesn't just rise. It breaks, and sometimes the fall begins with a simple ping. Inside the quiet cafe, Marcus studies the steaming cup before him as though its swirling patterns hold answers his screens couldn't. The chatter of early workers blends into a soft hum, grounding him in a world blissfully unaware of invisible cracks spreading beneath it. He senses the delicate link between ordinary calm and financial chaos, a thread thinner than anyone wishes to admit. His thoughts circle around Lena's unexpected message, and the fear that her reappearance means the anomaly is no accident. Even here, away from glowing screens and market alerts, he feels pursued by a truth too heavy to ignore. He takes a breath, knowing denial won't save anyone when the first rung snaps. Marcus returns home to the quiet hum of appliances and the thin winter light leaking through blinds, casting long bars across the floor like prison shadows. He drops his briefcase onto the couch, exhausted by a weight he can't yet name. The apartment feels smaller, tighter, as though the anomaly followed him here. He replays his last conversation with Lena from months ago, when she warned him that systems fall long before headlines catch up. He dismissed her then. Now he wonders if she was already standing on a rung that was cracking. His phone vibrates again. Another message, just a location. No context, no greeting. A cold reminder that whatever this is, it's already in motion. Night settles over the city, heavy and metallic, as Marcus sits at his desk staring at the location Lena sent, a warehouse district near the docks. He feels the old instinct rising. Trust no coincidence, trust no pattern that appears too neat. The markets may be built on logic, but the people behind them rarely are. He senses the ladder shifting again, an unseen hand pulling threads that should meet. The glow from the streetlights paints his walls an uneasy gold, as he realizes he must choose whether to climb higher into the unknown or step back before the structure collapses beneath him. His decision forms slowly, like a breath he's afraid to release. Marcus drives through the thinning morning fog toward the address Lena sent, each passing block tightening the sense that he's crossing invisible thresholds. The city feels different here, emptier, edged with the quiet tension of deals made off the books and futures priced in whispers. He keeps replaying the flicker on his screen, the number that moved like it had intention, and the way Lena's sudden return strips away any hope that this is routine market noise. He remembers how she used to talk about structural cracks, weak points built deep into systems that only show themselves when someone pushes at just the right angle. As he turns into the warehouse district, he realizes someone has already pushed, and he's arriving long after the first domino fell. The roads narrow, the silence thickens, and Marcus senses the ladder again, steeper, darker, and ready to shake. The warehouse door groans open as Marcus steps inside, greeted by cold air thick with dust and the faint smell of rusted metal. His eyes adjust slowly, revealing dim rows of abandoned machinery and stacks of forgotten powder. In the center stands Lena, motionless except for the slow rise of her breath. It's been months, but the look she gives him says she expected this exact moment. Her voice cuts through the silence, telling him the anomaly isn't a glitch, it's a signal. Someone is preparing to pull liquidity out of a network so deeply woven into global debt that its absence would topple more than markets. Marcus feels the skin on his arms tighten as he realizes she's been tracking this longer than he knew. Maybe longer than she ever admitted. The distance between them holds a history of trust and warning, and now the burden of something bigger rising in the shadows. Marcus and Lena move deeper into the warehouse, their footsteps echoing through a maze of rusted equipment as she outlines the pattern she discovered. Money streaming through shell funds, vanishing into nodes with no ownership. Trail, dot, tu, Galmaster Word, a TC. I. Thoughts. Every detail narrows the air around him, each piece fitting too perfectly with the anomaly he saw before dawn. She hands him a thin folder, its pages filled with printouts that feel more like warnings than data. He reads quickly, his pulse climbing as he recognizes institutions too large to fail and too proud to admit vulnerability. Lena explains that the financial ladder everyone trusts isn't just crooked, it's being kicked out from under entire sectors, silently. As he closes the folder, he catches her watching him, searching for the moment he accepts that this isn't a market correction, but a controlled collapse. Outside, the mid-morning sun breaks through the haze as Marcus and Lena stand by the loading bay, the concrete warm beneath their steps. She explains that the structure of modern finance isn't built on trust, but on momentum. Stop it, fracture it, or redirect it, and entire nations stumble. Marcus listens, aware that she's speaking with urgency shaped by fear she refuses to show. He asks who benefits, who stands to rise if millions fall. Her answer is a set of coordinates, not a name. She says they can't confront a ghost, but they can follow its footprints. Marcus feels the ladder again, towering above them, each rung one wrong move away from snapping. The world moves around them unaware, the stakes hidden behind polite headlines and steady indexes, masking a brewing storm. Marcus drives Lena back toward the city, the tension inside the car growing heavier with each mile. She points out that the entity controlling the flow isn't interested in profit. It's interested in leverage, in using financial gravity as a weapon. He grips the wheel tighter, realizing the collapse he feared might already be unfolding, piece by silent piece. She tells him the next move will happen tonight, and that if they want to stop it, they need to reach the source before the liquidity drain completes. Street lights flicker past the windshield as they enter the heart of the financial district, its towers rising like cold monuments to ambition. Marcus feels the weight of choice, forming once again a path he knows will take him deeper into shadows he once pretended didn't exist. Night deepens as Marcus and Lena enter the financial district's data tower, its glass exterior reflecting the city like fractured currency. Inside, the hum of servers fills the air, steady yet uneasy, as though the machines sense the pressure building across global networks. Lena leads him through the narrow aisles, explaining that the coordinates point to a hidden access point buried in the tower's internal routing system. Marcus feels a tightening in his chest as he realizes how easily entire nations can be nudged toward panic when information bends just slightly out of shape. Every pause in Lena's voice carries the weight of what she's afraid to admit. that someone inside this building may be controlling the very anomaly they're chasing. The glow of the server racks paints their faces in cold blues, and Marcus feels the ladder again, stretching into shadows that almost dare him to climb. They enter a secure monitoring room where screens blanket the walls, each one pulsing with live feeds from markets across continents. Lena pulls up the hidden routing map, revealing a thread of unregistered activity that moves like a quiet heartbeat through the system. Marcus studies the pattern, noticing a rhythm that feels intentional, a flow designed to mimic normal trading until the precise moment it's meant to trigger panic. He feels the old frustration rising, the sense that the world gives too much power to the unseen hands writing its balance sheets. Lena explains that the next liquidity shift will reroute billions in seconds, pulling pressure from the largest banks and placing it squarely onto smaller institutions that will crumble without warning. Marcus stares at the screens, feeling the weight of knowing and the dread of acting too late. Lena scrolls deeper until the name of an offshore clearinghouse appears, an entity Marcus thought had collapsed years ago. The realization hits him with a chill. Someone resurrected a dead institution to move live money through its shadowed channels. He recalls stories of investors who swore they saw strange flows the year it supposedly folded, and how those rumors were buried under headlines crafted to reassure the public. Lena explains that the collapse was staged, a deliberate blackout meant to erase accountability. Now, the same phantom structure is being used to drain liquidity with surgical precision. Marcus feels a surge of anger, not just at the scheme, but at how familiar it feels. He wonders how many times the world has mistaken manipulation for misfortune, and how many falls were actually pushed from behind. A soft alarm chirps as an unauthorized access notification flashes across the screens, freezing both Marcus and Lena in place. Someone else is inside the system, tracing the same path they are, but faster. Lena pulls up the trace route, revealing an intruder connection tunneling from an unknown device within the tower itself. Marcus feels a cold climb up his spine. This isn't surveillance from afar. This is proximity, precision, intent. Lena's voice tightens as she warns that if the intruder identifies their location, they could lose both access and the window to stop the liquidity shift. Marcus watches the digital trace zigzag like a predator searching through the maze of routes. The room feels smaller, the stakes sharper as the realization settles. Someone is guarding this ladder, and they don't want anyone climbing higher. Lena shuts down the routing map and signals Marcus to follow her into the stairwell, the echo of their steps bouncing intense rhythm against concrete walls. She explains that the intruder's device is somewhere above them, most likely connected to a private server room used by high-risk traders who prefer discretion over compliance. Marcus climbs quickly, feeling the weight of urgency tighten with every floor they ascend. He wonders how deeply this operation reaches. How many people know a collapse is being sculpted in silence while the world sleeps under the illusion of stability? At the landing, Lena stops, placing her hand on the railing, listening for movement behind the next steel door. Marcus takes a breath, realizing this is no longer analysis. This is confrontation. The ladder is no longer hiding. It's waiting. The steel door groans as Marcus and Lena slip into the narrow upper corridor, its humming cables snaking along the walls like exposed nerves carrying market lifeblood. The air feels charged, thick with the residue of hidden operations, each flickering light panel suggesting something unstable beneath the surface. Lena checks her handheld scanner, watching an unfamiliar signal pulse with deliberate rhythm, too steady to be accidental. Marcus senses the urgency tightening around them, realizing the intruder isn't just accessing data. They're preparing a coordinated drain that could trigger panic in sectors already stretched thin. He feels the invisible weight of the ladder again, noticing how every step they take reveals another fault line built into the system. Lena motions for silence as they approach the final corner, her expression tightening with the fear she refuses to voice. Whatever waits beyond, Marcus knows it shapes the fall that millions could feel. They round the corner to find a small observation chamber, glowing with the cold light of multiple encrypted feeds. A lone workstation sits at the center, its screens alive with cascading numbers and silent alarms mute by someone who knows how to disappear behind code. Lena approaches with careful steps, scanning the logs while Marcus keeps watch on the hallway. The data on the screen reveals a pattern more intricate than anything they've seen. Billions, shifting through secondary networks, routed by algorithms designed to mimic harmless volatility. Marcus feels the pressure mount. This isn't sabotage born of panic, but a deliberate tightening of the world's financial throat. The thought makes his pulse race. Lena turns toward him with eyes that confirm what he fears. The collapse isn't coming. It's already started. Lena dives deeper into the interface, tracing the origin of the breach back to a private trader account registered under a fabricated identity. The alias is unfamiliar, yet the routing signature beneath it betrays someone skilled enough to hide behind layers of misdirection. Marcus watches the cascade of data streams, each one representing a thread pulled from the global markets, tiny shifts that seem insignificant alone, but catastrophic together. He realizes how fragile the system is, how easily the illusion of stability shatters when someone understands where to press. Lena finds a timestamp marking the next major transfer, only minutes away, and her calm facade finally cracks. Marcus feels a surge of determination. They may be outpaced, but they aren't blind. If they can catch the intruder before the trigger executes, there's still a chance to slow the fall. A sudden distortion ripples across the screens, replacing data streams with a single encrypted message pulsing in red. Lena freezes, recognizing the signature long before the full message decrypts. Marcus reads the words as they sharpen into clarity. "You're too late." His stomach tightens as the room's power dips, the lights shivering toward darkness before stabilizing again. Lena explains that the intruder just executed a cloaking protocol, erasing their footprint and obscuring the final transfer location. Marcus steps back, feeling the weight of helplessness press against him, but Lena isn't defeated. She pulls a portable drive from her coat and begins extracting what traces remain, knowing even fragments might reveal a path forward. Marcus watches her work, the reality settling like cold iron. Someone is orchestrating a fall from inside the system, and they know Marcus and Lena are following. With the data drive secured, Marcus and Lena exit the chamber, descending the stairwell toward the tower service exit as emergency lights pulse faintly along the walls. Lena explains that the fragments she retrieved point toward a hidden network operating beneath legitimate exchanges, a shadow market designed to siphon liquidity without leaving traditional trails. Marcus feels each step grow heavier, knowing the closer they get to the truth, the more dangerous their path becomes. He senses the ladder looming again, taller than before, built from secrets stacked higher than any institution wants to admit. Outside, the chill night air brushes against them, grounding the reality that they're racing a clock they can't yet see. Lena looks at him with quiet resolve, reminding him they still have one advantage: they aren't climbing alone. And tonight, that might be enough to buy the world time. The city feels restless as Marcus and Lena cross into the financial district's lower exchange hub, its narrow streets buzzing with the low hum of after-hours trading vehicles and late-night analysts flooding in and out of glass lobbies. Dishy. What did you enter now? Marcus senses a shift in the atmosphere, like the city knows something is wrong, but can't articulate the fear yet forming beneath its surface. Lena explains that the data fragments reveal a final node hidden beneath the public exchange floor, a place where private routes intersect with clearing systems never meant to be touched. Marcus feels the tension coil inside him. Every step closer sharpens the weight of responsibility pressing against his ribs. The world still looks calm, still moves with the illusion of order, unaware that a critical transfer could fracture entire currencies before sunrise. He glances at Lena and sees the strain in her shoulders, not from fear, but from the burden of knowing too much. Together they move toward the entrance, both aware that the truth waiting underground may rewrite everything they thought they understood. Inside the restricted access hall, the fluorescent lights flicker with a sterile chill as Marcus and Lena move past locked server doors and abandoned workstations. Lena leads him toward an underground elevator coded for emergency personnel, explaining that the hidden node was buried during a restructuring phase years ago, forgotten by most and guarded by those who benefited from its secrecy. Marcus watches the elevator doors slide open, revealing a shaft descending into dim orange emergency light that barely reaches the bottom. As they ride down, the hum of the machinery vibrates under their feet, a steady reminder of the weight of systems built on invisible trust. Lena shares that the intruder's trace ends here, meaning whatever happens next will shape a financial blow no one is prepared for. Marcus feels the air grow colder as the elevator slows, readying them for a confrontation he's feared since dawn. The elevator opens to a cavernous subterranean chamber, where rows of high-security routers pulse like mechanical hearts. The low hum of machinery mixes with the faint echo of dripping condensation, giving the space a cold, industrial stillness. Lena pauses, raising her scanner as a faint signal pings from a terminal at the center of the room. Marcus follows her gaze and sees a screen active with half-obscured data, the last pieces of the intruder's work still running in shadowed loops. He steps closer, noticing how the numbers seem to shift with intent, as though waiting for the final command to drain liquidity across multiple markets. Lena whispers that the window to stop the transfer is closing fast. Marcus feels the gravity of the moment settle heavily. This is the fulcrum, the exact point where the ladder either holds or collapses. He knows hesitation will cost millions more than any mistake. Lena rushes to the central terminal and begins overriding the transfer script while Marcus keeps watch, the tension thickening as the system fights back with automated countermeasures. Warning lights flash across the upper panels, each one signaling a layer of protection designed to keep outsiders out and insiders invisible. Marcus feels sweat gather at his brow as he listens to Lena's steady breaths, her fingers typing with urgent precision. She mutters that the intruder built redundancies meant to survive even a system wipe, hinting at someone with deep knowledge of the exchange's hidden architecture. As she breaks through the third barrier, a final warning appears. Transfer imminent. 0032. Marcus feels his heartbeat sync with the countdown, the weight of global markets compressing into each shrinking second. He steps closer, ready to help despite not knowing how, simply refusing to stand still as the world teeters. Lena hits the final override command, just as the countdown hits its last seconds, and the entire chamber shakes with a surge of redirected power. The screens freeze, then display a halted transfer notice that fills Marcus with a rush of relief so sharp it nearly weakens his knees. But Lena's expression doesn't soften. She explains that stopping the transfer didn't end the threat, it only delayed the next attempt. The intruder now knows they interfered, and whoever orchestrated this collapse won't stop with a single setback. As they step back into the elevator, Marcus feels the weight of the ladder differently. Still dangerous, still steep, but no longer something he's facing alone. The night air hits them as they exit the tower, carrying the scent of rain and the distant hum of a city, unaware of how close it came to losing its footing. Marcus looks at Lena and nods, ready for the next climb, knowing the higher they go, the more truth they'll uncover. Dawn creeps over the skyline as Marcus and Lena drive toward the outskirts, the portable drive resting between them like a live wire. Lena explains that the fragments point to an unregistered analytics site hidden beneath a corporate research campus, an old data bunker repurposed long ago for projects no one publicly admits exist. Marcus watches the sunrise smear gold across the city and feels the uneasy calm that follows a crisis narrowly avoided. He knows the next stage won't be digital. It will be human, physical, and far more dangerous. Lena reminds him that whoever orchestrated the attempted collapse will move fast now, tightening loose ends before they can expose the pattern. Marcus grips the wheel, recognizing the shift inside himself, the moment where fear becomes resolve. The ladder isn't just taller now. it's defended. They reach the corporate campus, its quiet exterior revealing nothing of the secrets buried below. Security checkpoints sit abandoned at this hour, the silence almost rehearsed. Lena leads Marcus toward a maintenance entrance she accessed years ago during an audit. No one remembers approving. The air inside is cold and metallic, echoing with distant mechanical clanks. Marcus senses that they've stepped into a place where oversight was optional and ambition unchecked. Lena connects the portable drive to a locked terminal, hoping the fragments will ping the hidden bunker's network signature. When the door mechanism begins to hum, Marcus feels the gravity of the moment settle. Whatever they're about to uncover has the potential to explain the entire ladder, from the missing money to the ghost-like operator pulling the ghost strings. Rings. The hidden bunker opens into a wide, chilled corridor lined with old servers humming faintly, their age disguised by meticulous upkeep. Lena explains that the facility once handled predictive analytics for global liquidity networks, but was shut down after an internal scandal. At least, according to public records. As they walk deeper, Marcus notices recent footprints in the dust coating the floor. Someone has been here not long ago. Lena accesses a central terminal, pulling up logs that reveal private market simulations far more advanced than anything sanctioned. What chills Marcus most is the precision. Simulations showing the exact patterns they've been chasing, running months before the anomaly appeared. His breath catches as he realizes the truth. The collapse wasn't improvised, it was rehearsed. It was rehearsed. Lena scrolls through deeper logs until a single encrypted folder appears, marked with a timestamp from only hours earlier. She opens it, revealing a list of institutions flagged for targeted depletion. Names that would cause global shockwaves if destabilized. Marcus feels his stomach tighten as he recognizes several he once consulted for, each one connected through subtle channels he never questioned. The realization hits him hard. Someone inside this facility had access to both the predictive models and the routing mechanisms that made the attack possible. Lena's voice lowers as she points to the signature behind the entries, an operator tag she's seen before, but never confirmed. Marcus senses her fear, the kind she hides behind logic. They both know they're no longer tracking a faceless threat. They're getting close enough to see the fingerprints. The bunker lights flicker as a system-wide alert erupts across the screens. Unauthorized access detected. Lena pulls the portable drive free, but the warning intensifies, indicating someone has activated a remote lockout. Marcus feels the tension spike as the lights dim to emergency mode, the bunker vibrating with the first signs of a shutdown. They sprint back toward the entrance as doors begin sealing behind them one by one, the entire facility reacting like a cornered animal. Marcus realizes the intruder isn't just covering their tracks. They're protecting the next phase of the plan. They burst through the final door just before it locks, emerging into the early morning chill with adrenaline racing through their veins. Lena's breathing hard, clutching the drive as though it's the last truth left in a collapsing world. Marcus looks out across the waking city, knowing the ladder's final rungs are appearing, and the climb ahead will be the steepest yet. The city awakens under a gray sky as Marcus and Lena drive toward the independent regulator's headquarters, the portable drive holding the evidence still humming with unspoken consequences. Marcus feels the urgency tightening in his chest. They're carrying proof of a collapse engineered with chilling precision, and every minute they delay risks another silent strike. Lena explains that the operator tag they found traces back to a high-ranking analyst, once embedded inside the regulator itself. A person trusted to protect stability, not weaponize it. The betrayal gnaws at Marcus, a reminder of how often systems fail, not from chaos, but from ambition disguised as expertise. As they near the towering building, he realizes the final climb isn't about decoding numbers or exposing patterns. It's about confronting a truth powerful enough to fracture trust across the world. The ladder stands before them now, visible, towering and waiting for their last step. Bah! Inside the lobby, the sterile marble floors echo beneath their steps as Marcus hands the portable drive to the director's assistant, a stern figure who recognizes the severity in their eyes before hearing a single word. They're led through narrow corridors into a secure briefing room where the director listens in focused silence as Lena outlines the orchestrated collapse, the predictive models, and the hidden bunker masking the intruder's operations. Marcus watches the director's expression tighten, not in disbelief, but in recognition, signs that she's seen hints before but lacked the evidence to fight back. She warns that exposing this could trigger panic if handled carelessly, and that the architect of the scheme may still have allies inside the institution. Marcus understands the risk, but he also feels a shift inside him, fear replaced by clarity. This confrontation is the only way forward. Director Hale unlocks a classified terminal and compares the data on the drive to internal logs, confirming their worst fear. The intruder wasn't acting alone. A shadow network inside the institution had been feeding information to the architect for years, shaping markets subtly, invisibly, until the perfect moment to strike. Marcus feels the weight of the realization settle like cold stone. This wasn't a single person climbing the ladder, but a coordinated ascent designed to leave millions below them with nothing to hold. Lena leans closer, pointing to anomalies in the internal logs that match data signatures from the bunker, proof that the collapse was meant to unfold in phases. Hale rises from her chair, urgency replacing caution, and informs them the architect is scheduled to host a private briefing upstairs in minutes. The final confrontation is no longer theoretical. It's imminent. They move quickly through a restricted hallway toward the top-floor briefing chamber, each step echoing with the rising tension of confronting someone who once shaped global markets from behind a mask of legitimacy. Marcus's heartbeat thunders in his ears as Lena whispers that the architect will expect resistance, but not proof. Especially not proof stitched together from hidden bunkers and forbidden simulations. As they approach the frosted glass doors, Marcus feels a strange calm settle over him, the kind that appears when consequences are unavoidable. The room beyond holds the person who treated financial stability like a game board, and the world like a set of disposable pieces. For the first time, Marcus feels that the ladder is no longer a symbol of control. It's a trap waiting to snap shut on its designers. The doors slide open to reveal a sleek briefing chamber where the architect Arden Vale stands calmly reviewing a wall of financial projections. His demeanor is unsettlingly serene, as though already accepting the chaos he intended to unleash. Marcus steps forward, laying out the evidence with a steady voice, and Lena presents the data fragments that tie Vale to the predictive models and hidden transfers. For a moment, the room holds its breath as Vale studies them with mild amusement, then admits the truth with chilling composure. Collapse isn't destruction. It's redistribution. Hale arrives with security moments later, and Vale finally realizes the ladder he built no longer holds. As he's escorted out, Marcus feels a rush of exhaustion and quiet triumph. The world won't know how close it came to falling, but he does. And as the morning light fills the chamber, he understands that some victories remain invisible, and some ladders, once exposed, are never climbed again.